at Boston Connect
I
Real
never got
Estate
any
so
money,
much
so I'm like,
that
I'm
not
out.
only will you hear my perspective on real estate topics, occasionally you will hear the expert thoughts and opinions of our experienced agents at Boston Connect Real Estate. Be a part of our roundtable. If you have any questions during the show, please call 781-837-4900. We love to talk real estate. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and wherever you'd like to listen to us at Talk Real Estate Roundtable. If you would like a one-on-one consultation with me and my team to discuss your real estate needs, you can connect with me at bostonconnect.com or 781-826-8000. Now, sit back,
I have not
relax,
looked at this
take good
agenda.
notes, and let's talk real estate.
And hello to our South Shore neighbors. You are listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable. My name is Melissa Wallace, and I have a very special guest today for you. You're going to be excited.
So surprised. It's Tracy again.
It's Tracy Brady.
I am
in our new studio. I love to us studio.
the new studio because now I can get closer to the microphone.
I know. That's why I don't like to sit at the bar, because I don't like bar stools. To be grounded on the ground.
Oh, so I like to be up on a bar stool.
Oh, yeah. You're a little bit shorter
Because
than
I'm very challenged. That's why.
but yeah, this is our new studio, and
I love it.
And we're live on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and all that fun stuff. So we're waving to you from our studio. We have some new signage in here and everything, and so yeah. And then Mark put up some stuff in the ceiling to there was an echo.
Oh, like a
before.
damper. It's a damper. It's a soundproofing damper.
Yeah, it just sucks up all the sound. There's no echo, so hopefully. But Tim, you there, Tim?
I am here. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
And the sound dampening is working. And we love you, Trace. You got to make up for being a little on the smaller side with a big personality and a big voice.
Oh, she definitely.
Is that loud? It is loud, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. No, it's okay. It's good.
Yeah, now you're okay. Okay.
You're marvelous, darling. Simply marvelous.
Marvelous. You're looking marvelous.
You look
Marvelous.
Speaking of being marvelous, it's marvelous out right now, but maybe not so much later today or tomorrow. So,
how much snow are we really going to get? Like,
It's talking about 5 inches at the most, and it's supposed to kick in mid-evening, like 8, 9 p.m., and go through early morning about maybe it calms down.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's
then the cleanup.
Thank
can
God
start.
Tim's in the studio.
I know, because I heard maybe even yesterday it was like 8 inches until 12 o'clock on Sunday, and I'm like, oh, good grief.
Yeah.
I got things to do. I gotta go to work. And then it's the Super Bowl tomorrow.
Exciting.
Yeah, is it?
Well, we're not in it. I feel like my heart's just not.
And when you see the same team over and over again, I mean, if it was the Patriots, it'd be fine.
I'd be having a party.
Yeah. I said that to somebody yesterday, maybe the day before. My days sort of blend. But I said this to somebody recently where I feel like a lot of people have gotten away from the whole Super Bowl parties. I think maybe it's depressing because we haven't been in it.
I think it's depressing because the game doesn't start until 6:23, 27, whatever that is.
On a Sunday night.
On Sunday. It needs to
I can't
change.
go to work tomorrow. I'm watching the Super Bowl tonight.
Yep, exactly.
Going to a crazy party.
See, Saturday. Just make it a Saturday. People.
Well, I think
That's not
even
gonna
if it,
happen.
I think,
not
I think
gonna
it should
happen.
be a Sunday, but I think it should be during the day.
Yeah.
You
4
know?
o'clock, even 4.
Yeah,
4 o'clock would be great.
call. Tom Brady?
Roger Goodell.
No,
I think
no,
it's.
Tom won't be able to do anything.
Be there today.
Commissioner of the NFL or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's Roger. I think we need to call Roger.
Yeah, Mr. Goodell. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing
Mr.
Tom's
Goodell?
involved with, he's part of the
Tracy.
call on the game tomorrow night.
Oh, yep. Do you know who else is going to the game?
He is.
He is.
Wow. How?
He's traveling with.
Oh.
The president's going to be there.
Yes, so the president's going to be there. So Colin
Wait,
Brady's
is he
gonna be there.
traveling with the president?
He is. He's traveling for the president. He will not be on Air Force One, but he travels with the president. He is Secret Service. Shh, secret. But everybody knows he's
Great
going.
man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep, somebody.
Just take us to the Super Bowl. Come back and win. Thank you, Marvin. It's going to be fantastic.
Wow, yeah, I forgot for a second that that
He's doing the coin
President Trump
toss, isn't he? Trump
Oh,
doing the,
jeez.
is he doing the coin toss?
All right.
I think
I
he's
don't
on
know.
the field.
Oh,
So
well, we'll see. Is Colin going to be on the field?
no, Colin is going to be at the gate where the Chiefs are coming in and out.
Wow.
I know he's not doing like general admission.
Yeah.
So they have, let's just say, a lot of the uniform division is going because of the amount of people that go through the stadium. Every single person has to be scanned before they go through. But they have an algorithm that says if we have X amount of magtrometers at certain gates, we can get X amount of people. Like there is a whole thought process that goes with
Wow.
this that I did not realize. He's like, no, it'll take 3 hours. I'm like, you mean around 3 hours? He's like, oh no, it will take 3 hours. And I'm like, 80,000 people, three? He's like, yes. That's how,
Wow.
but they have amount of people
Yeah.
to do it. So
They're professionals.
yep, they know
Wow.
what they're doing. They know what they're doing. Don't mess around with the
Yeah.
Secret Service.
Will Colin get to see any of the game, or does he stay at the gate?
No, I think he can probably see some of the game. Probably.
I just want to interrupt. You mentioned if he's doing the coin toss. There's no official word yet as of
Yeah, probably because they don't want everybody to know that he's doing the coin toss. But and I don't know that for a fact either, Tim.
You
to
better
be honest
you
with
better throw it up in the air, not just like,
Yeah.
throw it at the ground.
Well, no flick off the thumb like up in the air.
Yeah.
Watch it spin. Drop.
Oh my gosh.
Or he flicks it and like hits one of the players in the head.
think
Nope,
this is the
doesn't
first-
count. No good.
Yeah. I think this is the first time the president has gone to
sitting
a Super
president?
Bowl. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I read that a sitting president has gone to the Super Bowl. So
Fascinating, but so we were very excited for him.
yeah.
he's staying 2 hours outside of New Orleans though because they couldn't get hotel rooms.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Clearly, you can't get a hotel room in New Orleans
No.
3 days before
Or
the
an
game.
Airbnb. Yeah.
I would like to get 200 hotel rooms in downtown New Orleans 2 days before the Super Bowl.
Imagine that hotel. I know we're not going to say right
I
now.
know, we'll get.
But can you imagine that hotel getting that phone call being like, "Hi, we're we're calling from the office of the president of the United States. Can we get 200 rooms?" And they're like, we've been selling rooms for a year.
We didn't know.
We didn't know you were coming.
We didn't know. We didn't
Just want to clarify, this will be the first time the sitting president has attended
Yeah.
the game.
Wow.
I had information.
And Colin Grady will be there.
Colin Grady.
So
Lucky Colin.
we hope that Colin has fun.
Yeah, I think he's
Also
having a great
is,
time.
is
Yeah.
safe and protected.
To him, I'm like, well, I think the odds are you're probably going to meet Taylor Swift. I mean, she's probably coming
She
in through that
probably
gate.
will, yeah.
And I'm like, you get your pad of paper ready, babe. Get your signature. He's like, oh, I don't do that. No, we don't do that. No,
yeah,
we're all
yeah.
serious. Yeah, okay.
Oh my goodness.
Excuse me, Colin. Colin, what are you doing with that piece of paper? No autograph. No,
I don't think
no.
Trump would like
Put it
that.
away. Put it away.
Put it away. She wouldn't be bothered with stuff like
No,
that.
no.
Oh my God.
She's very busy.
Or he'll
very
get
busy.
tackled by Kelsey. So
There
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
go.
possibilities are there.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Oh, well, that's us. We just do whatever we want to do here on the show.
We do have an agenda.
We do have an agenda. So this is the second time in the history where Tracy has done the show with me that we have an agenda. So here we go.
There we go.
But okay, so I've just said that you've been on the show with me several hundreds probably times.
Yep.
But in case somebody hasn't caught one of your shows, which would be shocking to me, who are you? Where do you come from?
Where do you come from? So I am Tracy. I work with my husband, Jim. We are a team, the Grady team here at Boston Connect Real Estate. We live in Hanover, have been there for over 35 years, long time. And we started Boston Connect back in 2016. We love it here. We love selling real estate. We work together, so you get two for the price of one, we always kind of say. So if I'm not available, Jim's available. Yeah, we just love it. We live in Hanover.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we know the South Shore pretty well. And
Yeah,
that's us.
you have ties to many towns. You
Many
used to work
times
in
I'm from
Pembroke.
Pembroke, yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I used to work for Pembroke in the building department. I'm now working for the town of Hanover for a small amount of time, helping them out with their zoning and planning board. And I'm from Brockton originally, which Jim doesn't like me to say, but it's fine.
Yeah. You're just from, you
I'm
know
a South Shore girl. I am totally
know
a
the
South Shore
market.
girl. Yeah,
you
yeah,
know-
I know the market very well.
Yes. Sharon just texted us and said Taylor Swift will be asking for Colin for his autograph.
That's right.
Considering who she endorsed, I don't think that will be the case. But
Colin,
we
you never
can
know.
put that in his head.
Yeah, that's it. I'll send him a text. I'm like, make sure you give Taylor your autograph while you're there.
Oh my gosh, that'd be so funny. That might send Kelsey over the edge.
That would probably push him over the
Oh my
edge.
gosh, that's funny. Well, actually, this is sort of a topic that Sharon came up with, and then and now I'm doing it with you. Sharon is listening, tuning in. So hello, Sharon. And good morning. She's been working around the clock, so I wanted to give her the stuff. So I said, you know what?
Call Tracy.
Tracy and see, and then I'll bribe her with some coffee and an
That's all
agenda.
it takes. Yep. I'm going to bribe her with coffee and
And then
agenda so
agenda.
she doesn't have to have high functioning skills in the morning. She'd roll out of bed,
Yeah.
worked at the restaurant, didn't get home till like 11:30 last night. So,
Yeah. So
late night for me.
yeah, and then we have a big weekend. So not as big as Colin's, but that's
No,
okay.
that was-
we'll
yeah.
live through Colin.
Yes, we'll live vicariously through Colin.
So yes, we are a real estate show. So we are going to be talking about real estate. So today's
8:19, still haven't talked about real estate.
So today we're going to be talking. We've labeled it, titled it. There you go. Beyond the listing photos, the best time to see a home in real life. So we want to sort of go over and not just time of day, but time of year, time everything. Time is
Because we're meeting with a couple this afternoon to discuss putting their house on the market, and it was kind of a spur of the moment that they wanted to do it. So we are actually going to sit down and probably have this exact conversation with them today.
Yeah.
So it couldn't have come at a better time.
Well, I had asked you to do the show. I thought that, yeah, you would be a really great person to do the show with me if Sharon wasn't able to. And that's because I thought of new construction and
Yep.
timing for new construction and when to see it. And of course, Sharon has 2 divisions right now, so she can speak on this as well. But with you and Jim do a lot of new construction,
do.
and I'm just curious of any hurdles that you have to overcome because of people maybe not seeing the vision, or in the middle of winter when you're looking at a lot of land, like you can't really see.
Well, we've
You
been
can't walk a lot of land.
We've been over this because we've had some challenging lots in the past couple of years. I mean, we've had some beautiful subdivisions that are just, we've had people like lined up, and I'm not even kidding, during COVID. We had people waiting in their cars while we were discussing a lot of land with one couple, waiting to see whether they were going to take lot A or lot B. And when they decided to go with lot B, the other couple in the car was like, we'll take A. So sometimes it's just as easy as that, because if you have like a beautiful subdivision and all the lots are pretty equal, some may have a slight, incline, one may have more of a retreat lot type of feel. So it just depends. Like that was down in Carver, and builders really matter too, because some builders love to build custom. They do not want to build spec. They want their client in place. I want that tile. I want this here. I want master on the first. I want a primary on the first floor. Sorry, primary on the first floor. And they just have certain requirements that they want. And the builder we're working with now, because we have a couple of lots in Hanson, prefers to contract up.
Yeah.
And then bring in your clients. So it all depends on what the builder is comfortable doing, and it all depends on your client. So you never know if you're going to get a client that's going to come in and you have a house that's already half up and they're like, oh, if I had known, I would have liked to have done this.
Yeah.
But then you also have the builder that waits for that custom client, and then the custom client doesn't come along. So now you got to start to build anyway, because you can't wait forever to build. So now you're going to start the structure and you start putting your own spin on it, and then you get your client come in and they can pick the final thing. So it just kind of depends on the builder and the location. The other lots we had were challenging because they had some hills. They were like they weren't like a subdivision where you were clearing. It was one lot of land and one had like a hill. So it took a while to have somebody with some vision come in and say, I know what I can do with a lot and it's going to be beautiful. And it is absolutely spectacular. So
I want to talk about the best time of day to view a home. Do you have a preference?
it's got to be the daytime. I just think you need to have a lot of natural, like you want to put your best foot forward with the house. So if there isn't a lot of natural light in the house, you're going to want to do it at the brightest point of the day. So I say anytime between 11 and 2, I think is the best. I think 10 is too early in the morning. Sometimes I just think some people are ready to get up and go. Well, I'm not even talking about like daylight and natural light. I think sometimes like on a Saturday or Sunday morning, people don't want to have to rush out of the house at 10 o'clock. I think when you say 11, people are like, yeah, we can go look at a couple of houses and maybe do lunch.
Oh, I like that too. I have a breakdown of a whole entire day and the pros and cons. So morning viewing. So we broke it down from 8 a.m. to 11. 8 a.m.
Who's looking at a house at 8 a.m.?
No.
I can tell you.
Straight to the top, especially in real estate.
Yeah, it amazes me the amount of people that are up super early that are chit-chatting online.
So some pros of an early morning viewing. So you said natural light. So that's ideal for seeing how much daylight enters the home. Quieter streets. So it gives a more peaceful impression of the neighborhood. Less competition, fewer buyers out. It's not out. More experience and fresh air. Easier to detect potential odors inside the home. Cons may not reflect neighborhood activity at peak hours.
Correct.
Harder to gauge traffic patterns around schools and work areas. And we're going to get into that part of it too. I have a whole list of things that, more of, what time you should go and things near a school and all that.
Because we talk about Pembroke, it's funny because we obviously have done a lot in Pembroke. We've done a bunch of condo complexes and new construction homes in Pembroke, and it's so funny because we do have a gun club in Pembroke, but at certain times of the day, you can certainly hear it more than other times of the day. So it depends on what time you show the house. You might hear the gun club, and it's funny because in the town of Pembroke, like we've sold houses in Pembroke, South Pembroke, Bryantville. And all of a sudden I'm like, what was that? Jim's like, I think it was the gun club. I'm like, well, we're not anywhere near the gun club. Like, why would I hear the gun club? What was that? It was the gun club. But I mean, you have to like think about what is in the air. So like you say, certain times of the day, you wouldn't hear that because it doesn't start until like 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning, and they have to be done by a certain time during the day. So it's not like it's overwhelming but certain times of the day, you are certainly going to hear somewhere in Pembroke.
I'm near the Halifax train. So I hear the 10 o'clock train. I hear the 11, but like I know what time it is because I'm like, oh, it's 11 o'clock. It must be 11 o'clock because there's a train going by.
Yeah, you can hear it. And can you hear it certain? Like depends on the way the wind goes. Sometimes sometimes I don't hear it at all. But then out of the blue, I will hear it clear as a bell. And we are not that close to the train station, but I can hear it over in Abington.
Yeah, it happens a lot sometimes with the little airport that's around. And I can hear or even the helicopters that go by. I'm like, oh, something going on.
Yeah. What was I watching?
What time of the day is it?
Flip or Flop. I think I was watching. Oh, no, the new Flip Off show where they're competing against each other. And they each had to buy a house that they were going to flip. So they found the house that they wanted. And then they go outside and they're like, what is that? It was right on the path to like, they didn't do their homework. It was like they looked up in the sky like, oh, that explains a lot. That's why the house is. Yeah.
Well, we can get into that part too, but afternoon viewings, so 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock. Home is well lit with peaks or pros. Allows you to check temperature control, especially in hotter months. So, when the sun is beaming, you want to make sure that
what's
AC
the AC
is working.
set at? Yeah, and what's it set at to get it gauge? Like, okay, do they have to keep it at 60? Do they have to keep it at 67 or 64, 70, whatever? Yeah.
Opportunity foot traffic or noise is present. Some cons can be deceptive if you're checking for noise levels. Neighborhoods may be quieter when people are at work.
School.
Midday light. Yeah. Midday light can sometimes be too harsh, hiding imperfections in finishes or paint. I don't know about that one.
I got to tell you this one. I have a neighbor I have a neighbor. And we have a lot of kids in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
When we all moved in, we all had kids. There were 17 homes.
Yeah.
All of us had kids ranging from high school age to newborns. So I mean, we had a lot of kids all the time. yelling, basketball, whatever. There was just always kids. And then obviously all the kids grew up and kind of moved out. And then we had a couple of families move back in with younger kids. I get a text message from my neighbor one day like, what is that noise? And I'm like, that is the sound of happy children playing across the street. And she's like, I don't like it. It's really loud.
Do you remember when our kids used to be
That's what I do. Don't you remember, like, what is that noise? Why do they continue? I'm like, they're playing outside. They're allowed to play outside.
Oh my gosh, that is so
And
funny.
she's like, well, too loud.
Oh my gosh.
Turn your air up and put your TV on. You're gonna fine.
What is that noise? It's the sound of happy children.
You just don't remember.
Oh gosh, that's funny. Evening viewing, so 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. shows how the home looks at sunset and during low light conditions. You get a real sense of neighborhood vibe, so people coming home, kids playing, traffic patterns.
Yep.
And lets you check for street lighting and safety.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yep.
My street is so dark.
Yes. Yep.
So dark, and people fly down it. I don't know how, and people walk my street in their walk
Really?
with their dogs.
Sidewalk?
No,
Ooh, yeah, that makes me nervous.
it makes me nervous. We found a dog in our backyard.
I saw that.
Yeah, on last Sunday. And it ended up being one of my neighbors. But of course, for anybody who's part of any of the Connect pages, I had posted on. I was doing the dishes, and all of a sudden, I see something edge of my backyard. I do have a lot of woods too, so and he's just standing there, wagging his little butt, and I go, "Oh my gosh, there's a dog outside!" So we went outside, and he was all the way on the other end of the backyard, and I was at the bottom of my stairs, and I'm like, and he's like, "Oh." And he comes over, wiggling his butt. He's so cute. And then I was like, "Oh, we got to get him in the house."
Yeah,
Like, he
keep
had
him
no
on the
collar
street,
on. Yeah. So I'm in the house. Benny was not happy. So we put him in the bedroom. Yeah. He tried to be him. And the dog was just like, "Hey, I just want to be your friend. And also, can I have some water? I'm very thirsty." So I gave him some water. He ate all the cat food and, whatever. But I had posted on Pembroke. I found this dog in my backyard, and he was just so sweet. And Ethan was like, "Well, I'm just gonna start walking the street and see if anybody, has been." So one of my neighbors comes out of the house, and he's just like, "Hi, I think I saw my brother's dog go in your house." He was visiting. Yeah, he was visiting, and the dog got out. Yeah, and he didn't have a collar on, but he was very sweet. And he was just like, "Oh, well, thanks so much for helping." I don't know why I started telling that story.
Back.
Oh, because I was nervous because if this had happened at night, the dog was chocolate brown, and
He would have blended.
there's no lights on, like there's no street lights on my street, and people, like I said, people fly down, and it would have broken my heart. Had something happened. And sometimes it happens with the turkeys. We got a lot of turkeys, but people stop for them.
The turkeys, you have no choice. They barricade off the street like you can't get past.
Well, sometimes I catch on my cameras that they peck at Ethan's car. So Ethan has a black car, and they can see the reflection, and they get angry. They start to fight it. They fight themselves. So. I'll show you some videos. Oh yeah, and then back too, and they sit on top of my grill, and they look at the camera like this. Oh yeah, I have videos. I'll show you. Anyway, so I'm grateful that it happened during the day. So my neighborhood, it's very dark at night. We leave our lights on. Everybody pretty much leaves their exterior lights on. So that's something that I would have known had I had a showing at my house deep in the night.
Well, I think it's important to go at different times of the day. If you're really interested in the home, I think it's worth your time. Like you look at it, you're I love the house. This is where I want to live. But it's good to go back at different times of the day and just drive by and kind of get a feel for what it's like in the morning, what it's like in the afternoon.
Yeah.
That way you're a little bit more prepared.
Well, I do want to talk about, so, was there one other time? Oh, yeah.
Scheduling multiple visits.
Yeah, night viewing. So, PM. So, checking, wait, did I miss? Oh, no. Great for checking noise levels. So, parties, loud neighbors, nearby nightlife.
Jay Landers, who's right behind me.
It lets you evaluate street lighting insecurity. Oh, look at that. I didn't even know I put that on there. And it gives a realistic view of how the home feels after dark. Nighttime cons would be difficult to inspect exterior features. Shadows can make rooms look different, and they do in daylight. Limited may not accommodate late night viewings. I had when Mary was out on maternity leave, I had taken one of Mary and Sharon's clients out to see a home in Plymouth. It had just snowed the day before.
Oh.
It was a very steep driveway. The listing agent called me and said, "Oh, if you have a sedan, don't park in the driveway. You got to park on the street because you'll bottom out." And I'm like, "Okay,
okay. This is
lovely."
This is a challenge.
There were two spots on the street, and there were 3 cars. So I was like, okay. So I ended up parking in the neighbors. I did. Somebody was outside. I was like, "Do you mind if I?" And she's like, "Oh my gosh, of course." But there was a ledge, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, don't go over the ledge. This would be so embarrassing." But we had to go down steep stairs that were slippery. It had just snowed. It was freezing out. It was really dark. It was like 6:30 in the middle of winter. So the showing was difficult.
Yeah, when you're starting off with all of that.
Yeah, so it was almost an immediate no. We did walk around and everything in the house just needed too much work. But it was an immediate,
It didn't give you a real
warm, fuzzy feeling about buying your first home.
Yeah. And then you start thinking of your mother and your father coming to the house, or anybody who's a little older coming down that driveway, down the stairs. You're automatically getting a bad feeling, a bad picture in your head.
Yeah.
It's going to take a lot to come back.
So getting back to going to the property a couple times and in doing a drive-by is okay too. Just don't become stalker-esque.
Or don't slow down in a park out front and then
with your binoculars going by. Don't do that. But do 1 or 2 showings. You can do private showings, or you can go to the open house. And the more you see the house, the more the seller is going to know that you're interested and you have real genuine interest in that property.
Yeah. I think we can kind of, our house it abuts, everybody, our house abuts a very large construction site that's always going. It's it does concrete, and I will say, when we first looked at it, you kind of hem and haw about it a little bit. You're like, it's always because nobody's developing behind us. And yes, it can be loud sometimes, but it becomes almost like a white noise in the background. Like
You've done this so long, it doesn't bother
put me
you.
up, and there can be loud stuff out there. It's a lot of dump trucks. It's a concrete.
But when you go to sell your house, you can say to somebody who might bring up that concern,
And that would be, yep.
"We've been here since what, 1999?"
1999.
Oh my gosh, I knew that.
You knew that. How did you know that?
Because I think you've told me, and it's
Sometimes
I just
struggle with
registered
the
it in my head.
Sometimes I struggle with the daylight.
Maybe you're associated with Prince
2099.
in 1999. Maybe
1999. There we go.
So you could say, we've been here since 1999, and it has not bothered us.
No.
Yeah, we hear it every once in a while, but you get used to it.
For the longest time, we used to walk the paths with the kids, and we have the bikes out there. So we kind of turned it into a positive, like, there's a ton of space out there that we can walk around, and it's beautiful. It's really lovely.
Those dump
the
trucks are
backside.
lovely.
They're not the best part.
I've never even known, and I've been to your house a few times. I've never even.
But they're done at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So when we're sitting out there, even at night in the summertime,
Yeah, I'm
we're
not having a
sitting out on
martini
the
at
back
your house at one. Although I could.
deck. I'm not saying I wouldn't. I'm just saying.
I'm not saying I wouldn't have a martini at 1 o'clock at your house. I haven't.
But again, it becomes part of it. I just don't even think about it, really, to be honest with you. It does not bother me. I'm sure he'd love to hear somebody say that, because I'm sure he does get complaints. It's funny because working in the town of Hanover, somebody told me the other day that there was somebody in Hanson that actually complained. Hanson, I'm talking, it's got to be 1.5 miles, 2 miles away.
Yeah.
Maybe even more.
About how loud it was?
Yes. I'm like,
That is
I'm like,
somebody who
I
is
just looked at-
from the Midwest and doesn't.
but I'm like, how does he even? I'm like, I can hear it. It's basically right behind my fence, behind over
Yeah.
there. I'm like, but 2 miles away, you're complaining about, like, you need
And how do
something
you
else
know
in
it's
your life.
coming from there? Like,
It
when you're
could
that
be
far
from-
away.
It could be it could be somebody else that has a small business in their backyard that you're hearing and you're thinking you're hearing.
Yeah.
You know, the big construction. I'm like, no, come sit in my backyard. And then you'll know if you can hear it.
It's
But
so funny.
it doesn't even bother us. So,
Well, a list of things. So, say you like a house and you're interested in it, but it's next to a school. I would say tour during school drop off or pickup.
Yeah.
Traffic and noise levels.
yeah.
Visit on a weekend to see if it's quieter and assess, how much parking is available.
I think if it doesn't bother you close to the school, what bothers me more is when I'm not close to the school, but yet I'm cutting through Hanover to get to the highway,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden I come across the middle school, and now I'm stuck
Yeah.
in traffic both ways. That you're not expecting. If I live near a school, I plan my day out the school's hours, and I know what to expect. But when you all of a sudden you're coming across town, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I forgot school. Yeah.
So my house is 8 minutes from the office. Okay. So I could leave my house at 8:52 and make it to work at 9.
Yeah.
I leave at 8:51 because I know as soon as I'm coming down my street, across the street is a school bus that
Yep.
comes, and we meet all the time, and they
We meet.
always turn, and I'm stuck behind them. But if I leave a minute early,
Yep.
I'm not stuck behind them, and that's my morning.
It does tell you how accurate these school buses are, because
Yeah.
there are times that I've left late for work to go to the restaurant in the afternoon, and if I leave at 3:02,
Yeah.
I am stuck behind the school bus on Brook Street.
Yeah.
If I leave anytime 1 minute or 3 o'clock, I'm fine. I beat it every time. But I'm like, oh, I'm stuck behind that school. But they are
Yeah.
so accurate. I'm like, I know it's my own fault. but
Yeah.
yeah.
I think there was one time that it was early or something, and I literally said out loud in my car, I was like, why are you so early this morning?
What are you doing out here?
But like, they take the same path that I do,
It
and I'm like,
is-
oh,
yep, they
my
are-
goodness.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, and now they stop at every single house. I mean, I remember having to walk.
Oh.
I only took the bus for a couple years, maybe, and I just remember, having to leave my house before I get there because I had to
Yes.
walk to my bus stop.
Up the hill. I am the person who walked up the hill
Yeah.
to the intersection in Brockton.
Mhm.
We had to walk up the hill to the intersection in Brockton and wait for the bus. And we would all we would hang out on this corner, and there would be like 20 or at least 20 of us just hanging in our little groups waiting for the bus to come.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Oh, I have a question. So Sharon said that she tried to call in, but with PA Landers, do they stop working at 5 and not on Sundays? A lot
Yes.
of people worry about industrial parks being next door. Jefferson Square was an example. But I let people know they close generally by 5, so it's quiet after that. So you
It
just
is.
say that they
Yes.
essentially
Yep.
stop at 4.
Yep. And they're closed on Sundays. They usually close pretty early on a Saturday afternoon. Like by 2 o'clock, they're pretty quiet. Yeah, again, and we're not home during the day because we work during the day. So
Yeah. It's bother you.
No,
It's
and I
fine.
think it wouldn't bother them, but unless you're staying home. And again, doors closed, AC on, heat on, we don't hear them. If
Yeah.
outside during the day, if we're by the pool or something during the week,
Yeah, but who cares?
It-
Especially for somebody who's from the city. I mean, take
Yeah.
Brockton even.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure it's a lot quieter than Brockton.
it's a lot quieter than Brockton. I grew up on a really busy street, a cut-through street in Brockton on North Quincy Street. So, my parents were like, you wait by the side of the road and you look both ways at least 18 times. Like
Yeah.
left, right. We even had a dog next door named Butchie with one leg who used to cross the street all the
It
time.
only had one leg.
One-
It had 3 legs.
3. It was a single leg. It was a
Yeah.
tri dog. It was a tri.
It was
Missing a leg is what That's early. Missing a leg.
it was ahead of its time. It had a wheelchair already.
Exactly. He was on a. No. You look left. Dog never got hit, except I don't even know how his leg. It was just always
I think
missing a leg.
I think my mom had a 3-legged dog growing up, right, Mom? She'll, Liz from Brockton. We'll hear from her at some.
She'll kick in a minute.
She'll kick in a minute. next to industrial park. That's so funny. Number 2 is on my list.
Yep.
So checking during business hours to assess traffic noise, or
Know what the
traffic
businesses are.
noise, odors.
Just because it's an industrial park doesn't mean it's going to be loud either. It could be
Yeah.
people that are not, it's an industrial park, but they don't have loud noise.
Yeah. I think it's also important with new construction. So if you're purchasing something in development and you're getting in sort of in the beginning, there's always an incentive to get in the beginning, and that's when you see the prices tend to be a little bit lower. And as the develops, prices get higher. That's just how it goes. And it's sort of an incentive for a buyer to get in right away because they do have to live through sort of the construction of the rest of the development.
Correct.
So I think even when you're purchasing new construction, visit, on a random day while they are doing construction, you can hear how much noise is going on.
And it's not forever. It's not forever. It would be, a year.
It's not forever. And also, I would say, even if you aren't purchasing new construction, but you're purchasing a home that is near a development that is being developed, obviously those trucks have to go by at some point to get to where they're going. So, sort of being aware of that. They generally are like early in the morning or, in the afternoon when they're leaving.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
But some of them, they leave there at the construction site. So
A lot of the equipment stays, so it's not like it's coming and going all the time.
next to a restaurant or bar. So tour at lunchtime or dinner time to check the noise, smells, parking, congestion.
Smells. I wouldn't even thought of smells.
Yeah. Sharon had mentioned when we were talking about this when we were going to do the show together is Casey used to have an apartment in Boston, and it was right above, I think it was a Mexican restaurant, maybe.
Ooh.
I don't remember. Sharon told me it was Mexican restaurant. I think it was a Mexican restaurant. And just the noise level was so high. And obviously she did move out of it. But
and again, if you're in Boston, they're open, later hours, they're going to be open till 12:30, 1 o'clock, and you don't want to hear people outside at 1 o'clock in the morning getting a Uber or somebody left without bringing them home. You don't want to hear that at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Yes, Mexican.
Yes, Mexican.
Yes.
There you go. And I, obviously, I'm just thinking about
smells. Yeah, the smells would be a big one for me. Like I could never live over a pizza place.
Yeah,
I'd have them pizza.
You'd have pizza every single day.
I don't think I get tired. I love pizza.
But I think it'd be better if you were in Italy, though.
That would be then I'd be
that
okay.
would be okay. I think if you ate pizza every day if you lived in it. I'm thinking about the houses that are around our restaurant that we work at. So I think I don't
feel
know
like
of anybody
it's far
having a
enough
complaint
on either side. I think both neighbors are great on either side.
Yeah.
And the smells, it wouldn't bother me from the restaurant. It
Yeah.
just smells too good. Like you come in, you're like, it smells delicious.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to think if I've ever lived near, like, really near a restaurant. I mean, when I
never
lived in
have,
Weymouth, my apartment complex was right next to the restaurant. But their food wasn't good, so it didn't really bother me.
Really.
So I would have eaten it every single day. Yeah, I had no temptation at all.
Zero temptation for that restaurant.
Zero. During heavy rain or after a storm. So a
Ooh.
perfect time to spot flooding, drainage issues, leaky basements, or water pooling in the yard.
It's actually a great time to look at a house. After a heavy rainstorm, if you're going in to tour the house for the first time, if there is no water, you're probably not going to get. If you have a heavy rain and there's no water in the basement or anything, it's probably a really good time to look at a house.
I had seen, I've heard several times that, our agents love to do home inspections during when it's raining. During a rainstorm.
It just makes it so much easier because either it's either going to be there or it's not.
Yeah.
So let's take the it's been super dry for the entire month of August, and then you have a heavy rainstorm in September, and all of a sudden, then you find your leaks.
Yeah.
So better to have it.
That's what happened with my house. I mean, the seller of my house.
It doesn't mean you're not going to buy it.
There was no water in the basement. She never had in the basement, which I totally believe. But there was a rainstorm that we had. I don't know. At some point last year, I had lost power. and it was raining sideways. There was a ton of trees down, so like we had lost power for a couple of days, and it had rained sideways, and I could hear some water coming down in the basement. So I have, you know, well, it was actually my cat that alerted me. It was like, something is not right.
Cat.
Something is not right. So she brought me downstairs. It was, she's an alert cat. Hello. Something ain't right here. And there was some underneath my stairs. And I opened up and there was some water just trickling down because it had been raining sideways. So it was going like, I have a little at my front door, and it was separated a little bit, and water was getting down there.
Was getting in behind.
Yeah. So we're fixing that, but that was something that I was like, oh my gosh! Like at first I was like, it's the end of the world. And then I was like,
house is gonna flood away down the
I
street.
had to bring myself back to reality. I'm like, it is not the end of the world.
Right.
I everything that I needed to do to make sure that it didn't happen.
This is part of home
This
ownership.
is part of home ownership.
It happens.
Well,
Things happen.
Of course, it's 2 a.m. I have no electricity.
It's always the worst.
I can't
It's
sleep
the
because
worst.
I need a fan, and I didn't change the batteries in my battery-operated fan for when I don't have. So I was already mad, and then here comes some water, and I'm like, it's the end of the world. This is it. This is it. This is it.
This was the dumbest thing I ever did. Was buy this house. I'm sorry.
This is it. And then I was like, okay, really? I mean, we're
snap
fine.
out of it.
Yeah, snap back.
That, and then all of a sudden you're like, no, it's fine. We've identified a problem.
Yeah.
We fix it. And again, like I said, it doesn't mean you're not going to buy the house just
Yeah.
because. I mean, it has to be fixed. Every house has an issue now and then. So
Absolutely.
if you love the house and there's a small leak going on, you repair it. It's not the end of the world.
It is
Yeah.
not.
The end of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and even if it is 2:00 and you have no electricity and no fan,
Hey, we
it's
could have-
okay. Because
Colin-
I've been there.
Colin's very good friends were having their house. They were doing major renovations in their house.
Oh, yes.
Took the roof off.
Yes.
And there was no rain in the forecast. No rain overnight in the forecast. Tarps on the house. 1:00 in the morning, massive thunderstorm comes through. The rain comes down. They're laying in bed, drip, drip, drip on their face. The entire house flooded because there was, but it was not predicted. Wasn't the builder's fault. Wasn't really anybody's fault. It was just bad
That makes me nervous.
bad timing.
Yeah.
So,
So what ended up happening?
oh, they ended up having to move out of the house. They had to file an insurance claim, and they just got back into the house. Actually, we were just there on Sunday, and the house looks
Wow.
amazing, beautiful.
Did they have to redo everything?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Obviously, brand new. They changed the roof line of the house. It was a split level, and they changed the roof line of the house and added a massive garage on, and so the roof had to be changed.
Yeah.
So they picked the driest day of the year to take the roof off, and there was no rain in the forecast. But you never know. So accidents happen, nothing you can do about it. So they filed an insurance claim. They ended up getting a brand new kitchen. They weren't redoing their kitchen, so they did end up being able to redo their kitchen. So Jim and I went over the other night while Colin was home, and we got to see it. And the house is spectacular. It looks amazing. So
Okay, so
sometimes
some things are worse
work.
than what I went through.
but it was pretty horrible.
Yeah.
That night he was on the roof at 2 a.m. trying to pull tarps up and it was
Oh my
it was a
gosh.
bad situation, but
I could never.
Here we
I-
are, small little things. This was a big thing, but it's all fixed, and now they have basically a brand new home.
Wow.
So
Wow.
you just got to live through the bad parts. That's
That
all.
is true. And they had each other to get through it. So.
Exactly, and a brand new baby.
Oh.
Brand new baby was
brand new
born.
baby.
Yep, baby was born while they were out of the house. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
So he's a roll with the punches kind of kid. He's like,
Yeah.
I'm good. Nah, I don't care where I live. I'm
Oh
fine.
my gosh, good for them. In the evening or after dark. So it allows you to assess street lighting, like we said, neighborhood
Yep.
safety, and overall ambiance.
Yeah. Again, that's a dry. Like I wouldn't recommend looking at houses at night. That's just not the best. And yeah, in the winter time when we lose that hour,
Yeah.
man, all of a sudden your afternoon goes by and you're like, well, we'd like to see the house at 4:30. I'm like, ugh, 4:30 is not a good time. The sun's already starting to go down.
4:30.
That's like going out to dinner at 7. 7? What are you crazy? I'm already in bed by 7. Got my pajamas on. But as far as looking at a house in the afternoon. In the wintertime, it really gets tough, those late hours, like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It's dark. I don't highly recommend your first viewing be at night.
Yeah.
I just, if you want to see it at night and go back for that viewing, but you really want to see the house during the day. First time out.
Sharon said this also with the Mexican restaurant underneath Casey was the smells and the roaches.
Ugh. Yeah.
roaches.
Bugs. No.
Yeah.
Somebody was telling me about palm rats the other day. Why do we always end up talking about rodents?
What are palm rats?
They live in palm trees, but when the weather in Florida gets so cold or snow, they come into the house. Kenny and Rose. It was Kenny. Kenny told me that the other day. Palm rats, while they were up here in Massachusetts, their home down in Fort Myers was inundated with palm rats.
Well, I'm
I
not
don't even like the
surprised
sound
because
of
there's
that.
no movement. There was no movement in the house,
Right.
so there was nothing to scare them away.
It's kind of like the iguanas falling out of the trees when it's cold.
Yeah.
Like they just roll over and fall out of the tree. So when they were...
What a view. We just reenacted that for anybody
watching us.
on
We just
Facebook.
did an iguana falling out of a tree. But yeah, I'm like, what's a palm rat? And he's like, yeah, they live in palm trees. And when the weather gets cold in Florida, which doesn't happen all that often, it gets that cold and snow, they came into the house. They had to have them exterminated out of the house.
Wow.
Never heard of a palm rat before.
I said this a couple weeks ago on the radio show. I had one mouse in my house. I had a mouse in my house, and the two cats detected it. They alerted us. They made
alert cat because they're alert cats.
They're alert cats. They're more like dogs
get the jackets.
than cats. That's for sure. But yeah, no, I had my first mouse. But you know what? It happened.
Did they catch it?
I don't know.
Where did it go?
I don't know. So, but that's what happened. I mean, it had just gotten freezing outside, and they want to come in.
Yep.
You know, and there's generally no movement in my house during the day, so
They're super comfy. They're like, "Ooh, I love this
I see
place."
this nice warm house. I'm gonna go inside.
Jim tells me all the time, he's like, every house has mice. I'm like, I do not.
Yeah, every
want
house has mice.
to
So that's
hear
why I
that.
didn't. Typically I think I would have freaked, but I was like, every house has a mouse at some point.
Yep.
Doesn't mean anything other than they're just trying to get warm.
They're just trying to get warm, and they really don't want to see you either.
They don't want to see you either because they know that you're kicking them out.
I do worry when people say that. They're more afraid of you than that. They're more afraid of you than you are of them. I'm like, that is not true.
Yeah.
Guaranteed that is not true.
Well, I did catch a mouse at a previous place I lived at, and the thing was so stinking cute. It was this brown fluffy thing, and it just looked at me like, "Please don't hurt me, release me." So we released it outside, and then I was like, "It's probably gonna coming right back in."
We've released squirrels before when we've been up skiing. We have friends who have a house, and we'd capture the squirrel, take the squirrel to the mountain. I'm like, that squirrel's going right back to your house 2 miles down the road.
My mom just texted me and said if they caught it, you'd know. They would give it to you as a gift, which is so.
That's
this is very
probably true.
They'd come walking over. Hi, look at what I got. We only have about 3 or so minutes left. So during rush hour, so gauge the commute impact, road congestion, traffic noise during near the home.
Yep. Highways close by is another one. Like one day we were showing a condo, and all of a sudden I'm like, is that the ocean? Sounds like the ocean.
Yeah.
And they're like, I think it's the highway. I'm like, oh yeah, that's
the
what it
ocean. Well, in Brockton, this is what we call the ocean.
To us, this is ocean noise.
This is ocean noise.
But it did. It didn't,
Yeah.
like, it was not super loud. It was close enough to the highway you could hear the cars going by.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but it sounds like the ocean, so now you're not going to think of it as cars. You're going to think
Yeah.
of it as ocean water.
Before I give you an opportunity to give your contact information out to everybody, we do have a few open houses this weekend. So Faith Birmingham is doing an open house today from 12 to 2 at 85 Summit Street in Halifax. That is on the market for $1.1 million.
Woohoo.
Sam Horton has two new listings this week. He is going to be at 13 Moreland Ave in Hull from 11 to 12 today. That is on the market for $515. And then he's going over to 16 Manamet Ave in Hull, and he's going to be there from 12:30 to 2, and that is on the market for $649. And Sharon and Mary, of course, like I said in the beginning of the show, have two new developments. They are at Cushing Trails in Hanson every single Saturday and Sunday from 10 to 12, and also Cochise Estates in West Bridgewater from 10 to 2 every single Saturday and Sunday. All of our open houses and new listings are posted on our social media pages, so be sure to follow Boston Connect Real Estate on Facebook and on Instagram. How can people get in touch with you if they want to see a house between the hours of 11 and 2, where you prefer, or any other hour?
Any other hours. We can do any hours. You can reach me, Tracy, at Tracy at bostonconnect.com, and you can reach Jim at bostonconnect.com. My number is 617-620-8484, or Jim at 617-842-4019. We'd love to do open houses.
We'd love to do it. And you can find all of our contact
Yep.
information on bostonconnect.com as well. You can listen to any of our past shows. You can go to, bostonconnect.com. You can go to talkrealestateroundtable.com. You can find us on your podcast apps.
We're everywhere. We are
Everywhere. Just type in Talk Real Estate Roundtable. Final thoughts.
Final thoughts. This was a great subject, actually, because I'm having this conversation with people this afternoon.
See?
Trying to get ready to get your home on the market. Like, don't sell all your furniture before I take pictures. Stop selling your furniture.
Stop
before
selling your
I
furniture, people.
take pictures. Then you can sell all the furniture.
No,
you
they
want.
want to see the open floor plan.
Yeah.
Come on.
And they feel like, why does this room only have one chair and nothing else in it?
Why is
What are
it
they
just
doing
folding
here?
I just want to give you an idea. Yeah.
What are they doing in here?
Sectional will fit in here? Oh, yeah, I do. But they sold it, so I can't show you. What the
I promise you that there used to be a sectional in here, so it does fit.
and it was huge.
Yeah. So, but well, thank you so much, Tracy, for joining me this morning.
Thank you for
and
having me.
I feel like I might have agendas for every time you join
It's
me.
been pretty fun. Yeah,
I mean, we generally have fun every time,
Yeah, we
but
do,
we
but-
sometimes we have to keep in.
Sometimes we're a little more on track with the agenda. We feel more compelled because it's written in
Oh
front of us.
gosh. Well, thank you so much, everybody. Thanks, Tim, for helping us out this
Thank you,
morning.
Tim.
And have fun and be safe watching the Super Bowl, everybody.
Go Pats.
Beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Would you be mine? It's a neighborly day in this beauty wood. The neighborly day for a beauty. Would you be mine?